Hello and welcome to Python Programming Complete course. This is part 9, working with user-defined function in Python. In this video, we will learn how to define and call a user-defined function, what are arguments and parameters, different types of parameters returning values from function, and the scope and lifetime of a variable. A function is a group of related statements that perform a specific task. Functions break a program into small and modular chunks, making it organized, manageable, avoids repetition. It makes the code reusable. A function once defined can be called multiple times. There are two types of functions. Built-in functions, these are predefined functions and available to use. They are readily available when you install Python, like the length function, print function, input function. User-defined functions, they are defined or written by a programmer to perform specific tasks. To create a function, the def keyword is used, followed by the name of the function, and we pass the parameters to the function within round brackets or parentheses. At the end, we have a colon. Inside the function, we have the optional docstring, a set of statements or the block of code, and a return statement. Now some of these, they are optional, they can be avoided. The def keyword marks the beginning of a functional. It is a reserved word followed by the name of the function. The function name uniquely identify a function and follows the same naming convention like a variable. We have a function def and the name of my function is morning quotes and the parenthesis. At the end, we have a colon. Now parameters are optional through which we pass values to the function. The colon that marks the end of the function header and it requires a block of statement. It also tells us that after this a block of statement is required. After the function header, we have the docstring, the three quotes, whatever we write inside the three quotes, it's the optional docstring that describe what the function does. Now, inside the function, you can have one statement, you can have multiple statements. Python statements that make they are the statements that make the function body, and it must be indented to tell that these statements belong to the function. You have an optional return statement to return a value from the function. That is optional. You may or may not have a return value from the function. So in this program, we have one function, morning quotes. No parameters are being passed, and it is simply printing the a quote, smile and always be happy. We have another function quotes where we are passing a parameter, that variable is text, and then we are printing the value of text. The third function, sum of numbers, two values we are passing, two parameters we are passing, and we are calculating the sum and then returning a value. This is how we define a function. Once a function is being defined, to execute that function, we call the function. In a program, when we have defined a function and we are trying to call the function definition should always be present before the function call, or otherwise an error will be generated that the function is not found. To call a function, simply we type the name of the function, the same name which we are using to define the function, and if we have some arguments, we pass the arguments, and then while executing the program, when the function or the programs gets executed, it will show you the result. For example, we have a function morning quotes, so we are calling a function morning quotes. No arguments are required for this particular function. For quotes function, we need to pass a parameter, so we are passing some data here in the form of a string. The third function, sum of numbers, two parameters are required. So in this function, sum of numbers, we are passing two values. Now since this function is returning some data, so to receive that data we are also having a variable which will get the values which are being returned from the function. And lastly we are printing the total which is returned from by the sum of numbers function. The output could be seen. The first function morning quotes is called and we are getting smile and always be happy. The second function quotes is being called with this string, so we are getting the result hard work and dedication beats all odds. And the third function sum of numbers 20 and 10 are being passed, a sum is being calculated, the function is returning some data, it is stored in total and we are printing total. So sum of numbers is 30. When we use a function in a program, there is a flow of execution which is being followed. That control is passed from one part of the program to the other part. For example, these are all the definition. Before calling the function, the function definition has been done. From this point, line number 2, the program starts executing. Morning quotes, the control passes from morning quotes calling to the function definition. The statements are being executed. The control returns back to the next line, line number 14. Quotes function is being called, control passes to line number 5 and this def quotes, the statement inside this block of code gets executed. Controls comes back to line number 16, sum of numbers. Similarly, there is a flow of execution in the program. Just now we were talking about the flow of control or the flow of execution of the program. In most of the programming language, we have a main function which is the starting point of any program. When the program runs, the interpreter starts running the code sequentially, but Python does not have a main function like other programming languages. So when a command is given to run the program, the interpreter starts the execution at level 0 indentation. Now level 0 indentation means, like in our program, these are the these two are the function definition. They have a body, function body, and from line number 8 no indentation is there, so this is my 0 level indentation. So this is inside the since we are not writing anything as a main function, but inside the interpreter knows that this is the starting point of the program. The execution starts from this line, morning quotes, and Python defines a special variable called name, that is underscore name underscore. It's a variable you can see on line number 13, which stores the name of the current module. Now it has different values depending on where we execute the Python. So if we print the value of name, we will see main if the source file is executed as the main program. Now if the file is imported from another module, so name will be set to the module's name. So same thing you can see in this program also. We have two function definition. We are calling both these functions. First we are trying to print the value of the doc string. There is also a special variable underscore doc which holds this doc string which is defined inside the function. If you are having only one function in your program, you can simply write doc, and if it has a doc string, it will print that. Since we are having two functions, so we need to specify which doc string from which function we want to print. So I have written morning quotes dot doc, so it will go to morning quotes function and print the value of doc variable. Similarly, I am also trying to print the name, that is the name of the main program. Let me execute and show you the result. So these two are the result, or the print statements are being executed inside the two functions which we are having. None, this line number 11, print doc, it is printing none because we have not specified which function. Then morning quotes, it is printing the doc strings from morning quotes for everyone. Now let us also execute this print statement. By executing this program, you could see name variable is storing the value of top level statement segment as main. Function in Python may or may not return a value. Depending on the value being returned by the function, there can be two types of function: non-void function and void function. So a void function is one that does not return any value. Now, as you could see in this program, we have a function quotes, which is not returning any value. It's simply printing the quote, a statement. We call the function and it will print it for us. But every void functions return a value of none to the caller. It is not printed, but if you specifically print it, you could see none. Let us execute this program. First it will print nothing, and if we specifically want to see what the function returns, we can store the return value in a variable and print the data. You could see twice the function is being called, so we are getting hardware code twice, and then we are trying to print the return value from the function. It is none. The function is returning nothing, so it's a void function. Non-void functions are those functions which return some value after a function has been called. It can be a literal, a variable, or an expression. Now we have a function sum of numbers which accepts two parameters. We are calculating the sum inside the function and returning a total or the sum of those two numbers. So in the 0 level indentation, I have called the function sum of numbers with two arguments, 10 and 20, and this function is returning data, so we are storing it in a variable. If we execute the program, we could see the return value from the function. The output could be seen, sum of numbers, it is 30, the sum of these two arguments. So this is an example of a non-void function where a function is returning some data. Python function can return more than one value from a function, either as a tuple or it can be directly unpacked. So in this program, we have a non-void function which is returning two values, num1 and num2, after swapping the data. So first we are calling the swapping function with two arguments, 10 and 20. The values are being swapped and it is returning the data, and we are storing the return value in a variable z. If we print z, it will be printed as a tuple. The output will show a tuple. We can also, since if we are returning more than one value, we can directly unpack the return value in different variables. Like for example, in line number 13, the values or the data which is being returned from the swapping function, we are storing it in this line, we are storing it in two different variables, x and y, and then we are printing the values of x and y. Executing the program, the answer would be clear. You could see numbers, the first time the swapping function is called, you could see numbers as a tuple, and then again it has been called, we have unpacked it, you could see 10 and 20 being printed. When we are calling a function and we are passing some arguments to it, the data which is being passed, it can be either by call by value or call by reference. Now the difference lies is in call by value, the call function makes a separate copy of the values which are being passed and works on them. The original value remains unchanged in Python. Immutable types like numbers, strings, they make use of call by value mechanism. By default it has been specified if we pass a immutable type, it will be call by value. We do, unlike other programming language, we do not have to write that this argument is being passed as call by value or call by reference. You simply pass the data and internally it itself knows that whether it is call by value or call by reference. For example, this is a program where we are passing the argument an immutable type, a number is being passed and it is called by value. We have a function named some number and x is being passed as a parameter. We are modifying the value of x by adding 10 to it and then printing the result. So we have a variable x which has been assigned a value of 50. We are trying to print the value of x before the function call. We call the function, we modify the value of x, then the data which is being returned, we print it. So actually, since we are modifying the value of x, the value should change, but you will see after the execution of the program that the original value of x remains unchanged. It is same as before. You could see the value of x before function call, it is 50. After the function has been called, the value of 60 is being returned, but this could be seen, the value of x even after modification, it remains the same. It remains 50 as after the function call also. In call by reference, the call functions works with the original values passed to it, and any changes made to the value in the function, they are reflected in the original value. The mutable types in Python, they are called by reference. So in this program of call by reference, we have a function list function where we are passing a list, and we are making modification to the list by assigning new values to the index 2. We are assigning a value of 30. To index 4 we are assigning a value of 40. We are printing the list inside the function. In the main part, in the 0 level indentation, we are having a list 1. We print the value of list before calling the function, and after calling the function the changes will be reflected. Let's see the changes. So value of list before function call, it is the same as the list we have defined. Inside the function, you could see at the second position the value of 40 has been replaced with 30, and at the fourth position value of 70 has been replaced with 50. Once the control returns to the main part, we have printed the new list, and the same data could be seen after the function call. That is, the original values have been changed when we are passing a mutable data type. There are two terms which are used when we are defining a function: parameters and arguments. So parameters are the variables in the function definition that receive the values passed during the function call. Now these are in the function header, the variables which we write, they are known as the parameters, and the arguments are the values being passed while calling a function. For example, we are calling print name, so these two values which we are passing, they are known as arguments. There are different types of arguments. The first one is the positional argument, or the required argument, or the mandatory arguments. These are the arguments which are required to be passed at the time of function calling, with exact match of their position in the function call and the function definition. For example, we have a function print name which requires two parameters, first and last. So when we are calling the function, exact match with the number of parameters and the position should be done, failing which Python interpreter, it will show us an error. So I am calling print name with two values are required, so I am passing two arguments, Harry and Potter. let me execute this program, then again I'll show you what happens if we do not pass the required number of arguments. So you could see the function is being called properly and my name is Harry Potter, it's been printed. If I uncomment this line and pass only one argument, let's see what happens. It is showing me, it is the first call to the print name function, sorry, it is printing my name is Harry Potter, and for the second call it is giving me missing one required positional argument for last, that is one argument is missing. If we do not pass any argument, then too we will get an error. Let's see that error also. Again we are getting missing two required positional arguments. So if the required arguments, if there are any required arguments, then an exact matching should be there. The second type of argument is the default argument, where a parameter is having a default value in the function header and is used in case a value is not passed to the calling function. For example, we have this program where we are trying to calculate the area of a circle. The first parameter is radius and the second parameter is pass, and by default we have specified the value of pi, and inside the function we are calculating the area of the circle and printing it. If while calling the function I miss or I do not pass the second parameter, then the default value of pi will be taken from the function header. Executing the program, you could see both the answers, both the output of these two function calls, area of a circle without the value of pi and with the value of pi, where a default value is being provided. The next type of argument is the keyword argument, which allows the caller to specify the arguments with the values so that the caller does not need to remember the order of passing the parameter. In this program we have a profit cal function where we are passing the cost price and the selling price and we are calculating the profit. While calling the function, first we have written key CP is equal to 1000 and SP is equal to 1500. The second function call, we have changed the order. We are passing the selling price first and the cost price as the second argument. But since we are specifying the names, the keywords, this correct value will be passed to the function. Let me show you the result. Both are showing 500. In Python, we can use multiple argument types together following some rules. For example, in this program, the same program where we are trying to calculate the profit and we have a discount also. The first call, we are using the required argument, the mandatory argument. We have the keyword argument and the default argument. So if we execute this program, the answer could be seen. Simple, profit is being calculated and it's printed in this line. Again, if we make some changes to the program and run it using the rules. So the first rule says the positional argument should be placed first, followed by any keyword argument. So in this function call, if I uncomment this, in this call we are placing the keyword argument, the default and the keyword arguments before the positional arguments. So it will give me an error. It is showing positional argument follows keyword argument. So this rule should be kept in mind while executing the program. Let's uncomment this. So this line is being commented. The second rule says multiple values cannot be provided for a variable. For example, in this I have made some changes. We are trying to provide a positional value for CP. Again, we are trying to provide a keyword argument for CP. So this should be avoided. A a parameter could not have multiple values, it will give me an error if I execute the program. You could say profit cal got multiple values for argument CP. The third rule says keyword argument should be taken from the required argument. So these are the three rules which should be followed if we are trying to use multiple arguments type together in a while calling a function. Till now, when we were calling a function, we were defining a function, we knew how many arguments we need to pass and what are the number of parameters which will be there for receiving those values. But in Python we can have variable length argument also. Like if we do not know how many values we will be passing or how much data will be required, how many parameters will be required for receiving those values, we can pass variable length arguments to a function using special symbol asterisk. Now there are two special symbols, one for non-keyword arguments and the other for keyword arguments. Python provides us to pass n number of comma separated values using the asterisk as args, and which are treated as tuples internally. They'll be stored as. So in this program we have a function named funcity where we are using asterisk args to provide variable length argument, and inside it we are first printing the values which are received, and then using a for loop we will print those data separately. We are calling the function the funcity using different values. First we are providing this data ABCD characters, then we are providing two numbers as argument, then we have defined a list, and then we are passing a list to the function. Let's call this program. You could see inside the function print args, it is printing the value as a tuple. This is how the tuples are being printed, and using the for loop the data is printed one at a time by picking the data from the tuple, and it is printing again when these two arguments 200 and 300 are being passed to the function. It is printed as a tuple and the values are printed. List is stored inside the tuple, then it is printed using the for loop. The second special symbol which we have is the two asterisks, that is they are used for the keyword arguments, variable length keyword arguments. The same function is being used, but in this the difference is between args and k-args is that the argument in args it is stored as in the form of a tuple, and in k-args it's stored in the form of a dictionary. So if we provide some data and we try and print it, we'll see that the data is being printed in the form of a dictionary, that is a key value pair. Similarly, in the same way, we are also passing the data as like a variable, since this is a keyword argument. So we have a keyword and we are passing some value to it, like we were passing for the earlier, like we were passing the keywords arguments. It's like, for example, a equals to 25, b is equal to 12. We are passing the values. Executing the program, you could see the dictionary is being printed inside of calling the function ct, and the key and the value pairs, they are printed for a and b. This one function ct, 25 and 12 are printed, and the last one, the dictionary data is being printed, and we got a list. When we are working with function, it is very important to know the scope and lifetime of a variable. Now, talking about the scope of a variable, it depends upon the location where the variable is being declared and is legal and accessible. A variable that is declared in one part of the program may not be accessible, or it may not be available in another part. Now, variables, they have two types of scope, a local scope and a global scope. When we talk about global scope, the like in this example, the variable which is defined outside the function and is in the main program, it has the global scope. They are accessible in the whole program, either inside the function or outside the function. For example, we have a function number. Inside number we have one variable x which has got a value of 10. We can print the value of x inside the function. Outside the function we have a variable y which has got a value 50, and we are printing the value of y outside the function. We could print the value of y inside the function also. That is, this variable which is printed in the main, which is declared and has been assigned a value in the main function, it can be used in any part of the program. Later on I'll show you local scope also using a different program. Let's execute this. You could see value of y outside the function, value of x inside the function we are printing, and value of y we are printing inside the function as well. So y is available either outside or inside the function. The same program is being used to explain local scope also. A variable defined inside the program, it has a local scope, and the variable, and it is available only inside the function. If we try and print the value outside the function, it will show me that it is local, it has a local scope and it is not available. Let's execute this program and see the answer. Value of y is printed, value of x inside the function, value of y inside the function, and then it is showing me an error that the value of this x which we are trying to print outside the function, it is not defined because it has a local scope. It is available only inside the function. Now this, while talking about the scope, another thing which we could discuss here is the lifetime of a variable. Now the lifetime of a variable is the period throughout which the variable exists in memory. So the lifetime of variables inside the function is as long as the function executes. They are destroyed once we return from the function. For example, in this same program, it is x is not available outside the function. It is available only inside the function. For global variable, the lifetime is the entire program run, like this y variable which could be which is accessible inside the function and outside the function. In this video we have discussed function, the types of functions, different types of arguments, scope and lifetime of variable, variable length arguments which could be used. Hope you find the information useful. In the next video we will be discussing Python libraries. Till then, stay tuned and thank you for watching the video.